Hello everyone, how's it going? Good evening, bienvenue, willkommen. Nice to see you all. Welcome along to a special live episode of Carrmageddon. I figured that I would come on myself and just, kind of react as it goes, and kind of interact with all you guys tonight as well, because I don't really ever get the opportunity to do that, doing my own solo shows, unless obviously I was on with another member of the pod, but it is just me tonight. So I will be discussing lots of bits with you over the absolute car crash, pun intended, that has been Celtic over the past week, because obviously I haven't been on. I've kind of been sitting stewing in my own rage, because I was purposely taking a little bit of time off, because I felt like that if I came on and gave my unfiltered thoughts in the moment, I would probably unfortunately get the channel shut down. So yeah, I thought it'd be better, maybe taking a foot off the pedal for a wee bit and then coming back at a later date. But obviously now that I'm coming on now, there is a lot to talk about. But before we get stuck into all the juicy gossip and statements and votes of no confidence and all that jazz, please guys, don't forget you can like, share, comment down below, subscribe as well. We are very, very close to, I think, is it 800 subscribers we're really close to now. I think we're on 793. That could be, a ballpark figure. But, we could reach 800 by end of the night, so we're ever closer to that 1,000. That's we're looking forward to reaching. So any support you guys can give would be much appreciated. Please also don't forget that you can become a Boys on the Bus member for the fee of $1.99 a month, and you guys, that's totally optional. You can just do that if you so wish, and it helps out the bus, helps the wheels keep going round and round, and you also get a wee Celtic scarf next to your name. Your comments will get highlighted, stuff like that. So yeah, if you guys can do that, that'd be great. Appreciate it. I don't know why I'm smiling so much, because I'm absolutely fuming at everything that is going on with Celtic now. I think it's if you don't laugh, you'll cry, because we are in a absolutely dismal situation now. Obviously, it concluded with the majorly disappointing end to the transfer window, where we all thought that, right, we're out the Champions League, we've just drew to Rangers, we need to have a really, really busy 24 hours, if the words at the manager were anything to come out by. And it turns out that it was not. It was actually the exact opposite. We had deals being cancelled at the last minute. We had, transfers that we knew about, the previous day or hours before, getting announced at the very, very arse end of the window to make it try and look as if we were kind of busy. We pissed about in terms of getting Adabida to Swansea. We cancelled deals for Yang, stuff like that. We then got called out by multiple boards from multiple clubs and ex-players and all the rest of it. Just really digging the knife into the Celtic board. Now, it's peak embarrassment for me. The things that have happened over the past couple of weeks, or you can even say a couple of months, in terms of lack of, actual progress in terms of transfers and stuff like that, this is more embarrassing to me than the COVID season. This is more embarrassing to me than, losing to Aberdeen at the Scottish Cup final last season. This is more embarrassing to me than not being able to beat one of Rangers' worst ever managers, Russell Martin, over 90 minutes, and not being able to beat them over the last 4 games. The things that are happening now are so clear and obvious for the world to see, and we are getting so many people over social media and football and journalists and people who just make content online in terms of football, whether it's like TikTok or Instagram, pointing at Celtic, laughing, or just simply asking the question, what the bloody hell is going on? Now, if you are unaware, after the conclusion, you all know this, I'm just trying to recap for anybody that might not be in the know who doesn't take anything to do with any of the news and stuff. There was a massive statement, open letter signed by multiple supporters groups, podcasts, fan media, Boys on the Bus included, by the Green Brigade. And the mounting pressure of people cancelling the home cup ticket schemes, the outcry online, things like that, have now culminated in Celtic actually last night releasing a statement. Now I have the statement here and I will read it out just to go over it, because it is an absolute farce. It is the biggest load of gaslighting I think I've ever seen. I'll quickly read it out, because this I genuinely couldn't believe what I was reading last night. If you haven't read it, I'm going to go and read the statement here now, so please bear with me, okay? So this was on the 6th of September 2025, 8:42 p.m. Last night. Following constructive meetings yesterday, Friday, with representatives of Celtic supporters associations, the affiliation of registered Celtic supporters clubs and the Association of Irish Celtic supporters clubs, the club thanked them for conveying the concerns of their members and Celtic supporters more widely. The club takes Celtic supporters extremely seriously, and the club understands concerns or frustrations have arisen while listening to views expressed by our supporters. Welcome dialogue. We're always willing to listen and learn lessons. Cue laughter. That's the first lie. The club is committed to engagement with supporters and will work hard to address the concerns and frustrations that have been raised. No, you don't, because people have put out multiple times that they have called out the board, called out Celtic, and what do they get for voicing the frustrations? They get blocked by the Celtic Twitter account. People go in the stadium, make their voices heard, telling the board what to think of them if they're, within close vicinity of them. They're ushered out the stadium, escorted out by security. So that's another fucking lie. Achieving success on the field of play underpins everything we do. The club's strategy over many years has been dedicated to that objective, and we will always strive to achieve it. Celtic supporters play an integral part in the success of the club, and we are committed to delivering success for them. If supporters are that important to you, Celtic board, why do you ban probably the most integral and most vocal part of the Celtic support being the ultras groups? Now, I know some people may not agree with that. You may disagree with the Green Brigade and the boys. You may not like the things that they say, but there is no question about it. They are a massive part of the support. The tifos that they do, the singing, the atmosphere that they try and generate, in big games like that is unparamount. It's up there with some of the best in the world. And so because they're being called out and because they want to have certain stances and certain things, they are banned from multiple games at a time. Not because of, breaking any laws, anything like that, because of statements are putting out, because the things they're saying, the Celtic board don't agree with it, and they try to silence them. So you're trying to silence a large vocal majority of the Celtic support by doing that. So you don't care about the supporters then. So that's another lie. It's clear from our meetings with supporters, representatives, and the feedback from supporters recent weeks, and the supporters seek clarity. We would therefore like to address several key points. Like every supporter, we're ambitious for Celtic and our shared objective in football success to succeed in Scotland and compete in the Champions League. We are disappointed this season to not compete in the Champions League, but we are determined to succeed both domestically and in Europe. What a crock of shit. What an absolute crock of horse shit. That is fucking another lie. You had months to prepare. You had a January window to get players in who we were linked with. One of them's in the door now, funnily enough, at the arse end of the window, who could have helped us in getting into the Champions League. You had an entire summer window open 2 months ago to try and get players in. You didn't do it. You got free transfers, bargain basement players who are seen as not good enough by the manager, players on loans, players on frees who aren't now being included in the Europa League squad. So they're clearly not seen as, a fit for Celtic. So you tell me how you're trying to strive to get in the Champions League and get European success. That in itself is an almighty clusterfuck. Do you know what I mean? It is honestly, I'm speechless. It gets worse. This gets worse, by the way. Further, the club's model is not optional. It is now essential as a consequence of the UEFA sustainability regulations. with which the club must comply. Wages and transfer spending are strictly governed by UEFA's regulations, which effectively cap wages and transfer spending as a proportion of our revenues. Importantly, the club's cash reserves are not relevant to the assessment of this de facto spending cap for the purposes of UEFA regulations. Therefore, all investment decisions must be and are guided by the responsible forecast of future revenues and cash flow, which by their nature are volatile. We can never compromise the financial integrity of the club. In short, throwing money at transfers and contracts is not a sustainable route to success, as many other clubs have found, to the detriment of their supporters. How fucking contradicting can you get? How condescending can you get? And contradictory, as a matter of fact, because you have spent less than multiple clubs across Europe this season. Multiple clubs. There's about a list of 20. I can't even remember some of the names. Like Club Bruges, Rangers have spent more than us this season, which is a fucking joke. Clubs in fucking playing in Championship level team. Wrexham have spent more money than Celtic this season on transfers. It's an absolute joke. And no one here is sitting crying out for us to spend ungodly sums of money to try and get players in. No one is saying that. No one's saying go and fork out 15, 20 million pounds for a single player. Literally no one is asking that. What we're asking you to do is get players in before selling our prime assets to get them in to replace them in time. And even if they do go out the door, replace them tout suite with players of similar quality. That means paying about £6.5 million for Jacob Brown from Go Ahead Eagles instead of bidding £1.5 fucking million. An absolute joke. An absolute joke. The gaslighting is incredible. I mean, I've still got the rest of the statement to go through, but I honestly can't be bothered because it makes me sick to my stomach. Just reading the absolute drivel. Also, no one put their name in that statement. Have you noticed that? Not Michael Nicholson, not Dermot Desmond, not Peter Lawwell. No one. No one's put their name in that statement. No one wants to be associated with that. Whoever the fuck penned that up. So you know it's a bad statement because you don't want to put your name to it. You're also blaming UEFA for your mismanagement. I'm sorry, but there's clubs across the world that spend money miles better, a lot smarter than we do, and make millions back. Celtic are good at making money, right? They should also be good at spending it. Under, the Bonnet, when he was here, we used to spend about 3/4 of our budget on like 2 or 3 players. We haven't even scratched the surface of our budget. We've spent less than £20 million this season. We spent over £20 million last summer. So you're telling me that flinging money and contracts at players ain't going to solve anything? Then why did you do it last season? If it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, why have you done it before? Why under Ange and Don Mackay were players signed in like that? The players that he wanted, the players he identified, the players that maybe weren't the most expensive, but got results, players he wanted to come in and improve the squad. Why'd you do that then? That's not the way to go about it. These people hate you. They hate me. They hate old Jimmy that goes in his mobility scooter up to Celtic Park every weekend in the piss and fucking wind and rain and the cold to go and sit there in the stands watching Celtic for about the past 60 odd year. They look at us and treat us like we're scum. I am honestly flabbergasted at the absolute just petulance and the fact I've got to take a dig at Rangers in the statement as well is just pathetic. That's a club who, granted, on the pitch this season have been fucking atrocious, but they've spent money this season with their new backing, with the money they've got in the bank, which, by the way, was share issues and all that. So it's not this, mega billion fortune that they were all clamoring about in the summer. It was only about £20 million they were getting to play with. Have spent majority of that. Granted, a lot of the players don't look very good, and the player they signed on deadline day for about £8 million hasn't scored a fucking goal in 2 years, but they still paid the money because the manager, whoever else, identified them, wanted them in, paid the money. Go Ahead Eagles, if you're trying to sign Jacob Brum from. Rangers also signed a player from Go Ahead Eagles. The Go Ahead Eagles club came out and said, well, we wish that more teams would work like Rangers. They just gave us the money that we wanted. The deal was easy like that. Celtic on the other hand try and muck us about. Do you know what I mean? It's honestly, it's I can't even. What am I about to say? Do you know what I mean? We've brought in millions this summer. We've sold Nicholas Kuhn. We sold Kyogo last season. We've sold Adamida for about 7 million quid. Whoever the hell we managed to get that kind of money for him is a goddamn miracle. What do we replace him with? A free transfer in Kelechi Iheanacho, who is not a convincing signing at all. Now, I hope to God he proves it all wrong, and we're eating humble pie, in a few weeks' time, and he comes in and bangs in the goals, and this reignites his career. I hope that. We hope that for every Celtic player. We hope that every single Celtic player coming in, no matter if we pay £1 million for them or £10 million, comes in and plays well and does well in the shirt. But that's what we want. It's not rocket science, but when you pay more money for players, when you pay more money for a product, the likelihood is that product is going to be better. It's simple economics. If you go into McDonald's and buy a cheeseburger for £1.50, it might be all right. It might be like, that filled a wee spot. That was tasty enough. It was okay. But did I love it? Did I really enjoy it? Has it, has it blew my socks off? No, it's not. Walk 10 minutes up the street, walk into a burger restaurant, more high quality products, better high quality meat, cheese, lettuce, whatever the fuck, right? You pay about 12 quid for the burger on its own. You eat it, you sit down, wow, that was lovely. That's one of the best burgers I've ever had. Look at that. I paid more money for this product, so therefore it's a better product. It's fucking basic. It's basics here. I learned this shit in high school business management. Do you know what I mean? Like, we are ran by a board of incompetent arseholes who want to just sit around, sip in their brandy, smoking their cigars, kick their feet back, and think that the fact that our rivals across the city happen to be shite, that, we'll be fine. We won't be fine. And you're seeing now, the supporter reaction, the support, like, vitriol coming, like, this is I'm seeing more anger now. Granted, it's not being demonstrated outside the stadiums because obviously, as Pat was saying, get the Sharks out. Well, if that's the case, I think the Celtic board are going to need a bigger fucking boat, because the Sharks that we should be throwing at them should be the size of the big bastard out of Jaws, because they've run their race. They should be done. They should be ousted from the club. And like what we're seeing tonight, I don't know if any of you have seen it, the Celtic Supporters Association has given the board a vote of no confidence. That's major. Now, it may not mean a massive, massive shake-up to what we all mean, but what it does mean is that the entirety of the Celtic support and the Celtic Supporters Association are unified in their stance and their absolute disgust at the mismanagement in the club now. And I'm actually happy in a way that, there's the happy clapping is at like bare minimum. Like, I have seen next to nothing. I've seen a couple of things here and there. That's for, people who I think are just, trying to go against the grain and try, I don't know, I can't remember what the actual term is, but, they're just going against what's popular at the moment to try and sound a bit different. Or they've no took their meds, but if they actually think the Celtic board's doing a decent job. Now, with this vote of no confidence with the Celtic Supporters Association, there does have to be action. Something has to happen. I don't think Rodgers will be sacked or anything like that. I do think that there's going to be some sort of rejig. There is if this does result in something, right, which it should do, it should result in them all getting the fucking bullet. But if this does result in something, be anything, it'll be a fall guy, a straw man. Someone will have to take the fall, whether that be Peter Lawwell or Michael Nicholson. It'll be one of the two. Now, I will be delighted if any of them get kicked out, right? Because it's a tiny small step towards, killing the big bad mustachioed monster that's, running the club into the fucking ground, being Dermot Desmond, who, by the way, I'm sick of this narrative that he's a majority shareholder. He's not. He owns 34% of the club. So he's not the majority shareholder. There's other investors that own a hell of a lot more than he does. Maybe they don't own as big a percentage individually, but people will have more power than him, arguably, over the club. So he is more like preoccupied with playing around the golf with Rory McIlroy and DJ fucking Khaled than he is actually trying to sort, the situation at the club out. We are so far behind in terms of where we should be as a club that it's laughable. We, on paper, are one of the biggest clubs in the world, right? One of the best supports in the world. We're the most successful club in the world. But we don't act like it. At the end of the day, managers, players, support, we've all got to the point we're at, struggling against the board. It's been a battle to get to where we are. And I don't care what any other supporter of any other Diddy clublets in Johnston or Dundee says that, it must be so easy being a Celtic supporter, having to get to this point. We have higher standards than you. Those who don't understand will never understand. And those who don't understand don't matter. So don't take any opinions from those people seriously by saying, having all these millions in the bank, it must be so easy. No, it's not. Not when it's not getting spent, not when it's not getting reinvested in the club, and not when it's not even getting the basics done. World-class basics in the changing room. Hardy fucking hard. They've got giant panels on the side of the fucking stadium that haven't even been sorted since February this year, sorry. While they're waiting on materials, where are they getting shipped for? Fucking Timbuktu. It's taking a month. It's not been repaired yet. They don't even have hot running water inside Celtic Park. They can't even give supporters a fucking basic human right to having hot water to wash their fucking hands with in the stadium. A pie is about £4. They probably pay about 10 pence to get the fucking bastard in the door. And I've been saying this for years. I've been saying it since I've been on the show, even the old podcast before. I've been saying it for months. I've been saying it for years at this point. And I feel vindicated. And as bad as it is, I feel so happy that people are finally getting to see what I've seen for years at this point. Do you know what I mean? And people aren't sitting saying, oh, Conor, fucking, cheer up a bit. Oh, you're being so dour. You're being so down the dumps. You're being so negative. You can see why now. Do you know what I mean? I feel vindicated, personally. I know a lot of other people will. Do you know what I mean? Because, unlike a lot of people, when things are going good, I never, let the Celtic board away with it. I never did. I never got off their back. I never, let them away with it. They could come out and, sit there and clap with their fucking prawn sandwiches when we win the league, maybe win a treble, whatever. Do you know what I mean? I feel so, good in myself that people are finally getting to understand my point of view. Do you know what I mean? And I hope that like I was like the guy in A Clockwork Orange with fucking the guy strapping the hanky's head and getting people open their eyes. They're saying, look at what the Celtic board are doing. Look at what the Celtic board have been doing for years now. And people were just trying to turn their head away and not bother looking at it. And I feel so seen now that I'm not fucking nuts. That I'm not just negative all the time. That I do have a point and it was always there. Do you know what I mean? I can't even bring myself to wear a Celtic kit on a fucking Celtic podcast now because of how scunnered I am with a club. I am disgusted at the way that they have treated supporters, the way that they've treated us. They treat us like entitled wee Neds. I'm pretty sure that was a term used to describe us by a member of the Celtic board before. Do you know what I mean? Well, that's the Green Brigade put out a statement a few minutes ago, by the looks of it. I don't know. Do you want me to look at it? Let me know in the comments if you want me to go and read it out. If you do, I'll go and read it. But I'll just keep going now. I lost my train of thought. God's sake. But it's mental. It's absolutely mental, the fact that we're at this point now. You know, going from like the heartbreak of the 10-0 season should have been the wake-up call. That should have been it. We all thought it was kind of coming in when Don Mackay came in the door and Ange came in. And I seen a clip the other day on Twitter about Ange talking about saying the way that clubs, when he was in the door at Celtic, the way that clubs evolve, the way that clubs progress is by constantly improving on and off the pitch, constantly investing. And if people don't see that, you have to make them see it. Him and Don Mackay, I'll read it in 2 seconds, guys. Him and Don Mackay were on the same page. Don Mackay sanctioned the fucking transfers for Ange, got them in the door really, really quickly. And what happened? He was fucking ousted. Bye-bye, making us look like fucking idiots by actually getting players in on time and paying fees for them. No, that one doesn't happen at Celtic. But, you know, like the writing was on the wall. The writings were on the wall forever. But I'll just go and read this Celtic Green Brigade statement out now. No confidence in the Celtic FC board. On Saturday, 6th of September, 8:52 p.m, Celtic released a condescending and unsigned statement which failed to address the concerns raised in an open letter which has amassed 378 signatories representing tens of thousands of Celtic fans worldwide. Today, the 7th of September, the Celtic Supporters Association has issued a vote of no confidence in the Celtic board. The CSA has also endorsed the open letter. Bhoys Celtic, Green Brigade, North Curve Celtic and the Celtic Trust also issue a vote of no confidence in the Celtic board. While it is our expectation that the majority of the open letter signatories would also endorse this vote, we are unable to add them without consent. To that end, we are in the process of arranging a consultation meeting of all signatories to the open letter to discuss and agree next steps. Arrangements for the meeting will be communicated to all signatories as soon as possible. While we firmly believe further escalatory actions are necessary, we are committed to building a fully engaged, inclusive and democratic fan movement which acts on the consensus of the fans within it. We are conscious that there are many individual fans not currently represented, and part of the consultation will involve how we navigate this. So, call to action. A call to action. There we go. Told you, better get the sharks out, boys. You know, time to go deep diving. Obviously, if we get the opportunity to add our names to that vote of no confidence, I'll be doing that, you know, with obviously Phil's agreement to it. Because if you actually go and look at the statement as well, the letter that the Green Brigade put out, the statement the Green Brigade put out had multiple questions about the direction the club are going, why the money hasn't been spent, why basic things haven't been addressed. Like I said, the paneling on the outside of the stadium, the inside of the stadium, fucking stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And the board never addressed a single point. They never addressed a single point. They just skimmed over it. They blamed UEFA. They had that article come out in the Sun that was leaked to the Sun. Oh my God, I forgot about that. The article that was leaked to the Sun by Celtic insiders, that the blame is on Brendan Rodgers, that he's tore Celtic apart by the comment sites came away with. So does that mean Brendan Rodgers, Cal McGregor's also to blame for tearing Celtic apart? So these people are charlatans and liars and fucking just downright scumbags. I told you all. If you were on fire in the street, they wouldn't spit on you to try and put you out. That's what they think of you. They think that, we're going to just accept any old shit that they shovel our way and swallow it up and accept it and move on. And that we won't stand by our fucking, our pride in our club and our ambition and our concerns and stand here united as support and tell them to just fuck off because they are, utterly out their depth. That Ryan T says that their time is up. Their time is up. They think we're fucking idiots. They think we're stupid. They think we're all low IQ fucking knuckle dragging Neanderthals. But it's time to show them. If you want fucking entitled Neds, if you want people who are a bit rough around the edges, who are, a bit uncivilized, then we should fucking show them. We should fucking turn up in force, peacefully, obviously, and show them. They should be chased out the club. They should have been chased out years ago. When Neil Lennon was appointed in the showers at Hampden, for God's sake, that should have been the last fucking straw. And yet here we are, but 7 years later after that's been gone. Do you know what I mean? It's still going on. The absolute farce. The fucking merry-go-round. The same fucking 10 people coming in and out the club. And don't expect anybody, ex-Celtic players or Celtic ex-Celtic media who happen to be in there, to call this shit out. Maybe Chris Sutton has, fair enough. But guys like Lennon, Mulgrew, all them, they know what fucking said their bread's buttered on. They know where to go and take their soup. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I don't know what else to tell you all. Boycott it to ever live in hell. They're not getting a single penny out of me, for the rest of the season. Not a single Celtic shirt or a ticket or a paying for a match somewhere. Going for a tour. If anybody, I've got family and friends who will more than likely maybe want something Celtic related for presents or gifts and stuff like that. I'm going to tell them no. I will not give that board a single penny to put in their giant Scrooge McDuck vault and just sit on it and point and laugh at me like I'm a fucking idiot because I'm still pumping money in the club. Because it's all for now. If you're saying these things, if you're raging at them, if you're disgusted by them, and you're still gaining them money. If you're on the Home Cup ticket scheme, I urge you to cancel it. Now, it's up to you. It's totally your decision, but I am asking you, as someone who would like to see real change, if it's within you to do it, please cancel it. If it's within you to cancel orders for things, please cancel it. If it's within you to cancel Celtic TV, please cancel it. I'm not saying cancel your season tickets. I think that's a bit drastic. But if that's as far as you want to go, by hell, go for it. Do you know what I mean? All we're really asking for, and it's not even much, is basic communication. Just answer the questions. Tell us where we're going. Tell us why the money wasn't spent. Tell us what's happening with the money now. What are the plans for the future? They can't even do that. They don't even have the common decency to address us, properly and answer the basic fucking questions being directed to them. And I'm at the end of my rope where, I'm absolutely sweating. I'm actually shaking with rage, man. Do you know what I mean? It's, I'm so interested, by the way, when the figures come out about the Europa League packages, about how many that are still going to be available, when the deadline rolls around. Because I've heard rumours There's been up to 8,000 have cancelled the home cup ticket scheme. Do you know what I mean? And by the way, if you have any other means, again, like if you still want to watch the games and that, I do understand, right? Because I'm the same. There are other means, wink, wink, of getting things like Celtic TV and things like that in certain places if you know where to look. So I would strongly advise, you do that. Because the Celtic board look you like you're fucking criminals anyway. So why not just, act like it? But, guys, I do appreciate you coming on and joining us tonight. I've enjoyed, the live comments. I've agreed with a lot of the things, that you've said. I hope I've not been too rambly. I didn't bother taking any notes tonight before I came on. I wanted to just kind of give my raw, unfiltered emotions, and hopefully give all you a little bit of a therapy to get your grievances out about what's going on the past week or so with Celtic. So I'm going to go the night, and I will just say before you go, please like, share, subscribe. Hopefully we're at that 800 subscriber mark by the time that I end the live tonight. But if we're not, remember guys, hit the like button, hit subscribe, comment down below, share it far and wide. Guys like, 4 Tims in a podcast and Ryan Money and his podcast and that, obviously they are getting a lot of people to jump on board with the dissent in terms of what the Celtic board are doing, and obviously they have a lot further reach than we do. But if I've been able to come on tonight and convince one person, just one person, to not put a single penny back into that club, to cancel their home cup ticket scheme, to make their feelings heard in terms of how we're being treated as support, then I consider that a success tonight. But it's been a pleasure, guys. I really appreciate you coming on, these. So God bless. Have a good Sunday night, and fuck the board.